Good morning. Welcome to my YouTube channel, my first long form video. It is 24 hours until race day. It's bike check-in, it's registration, it's practice swim. I'm gonna bring you along for the next 24 hours, all in one epic vlog, hopefully. So I guess hit subscribe because it's probably gonna be good. Maybe? I don't know.
Let's just start with an apology because I actually vlogged all of this and it was so windy, little first time vlog faux pas. I'm gonna do it like this instead and you can see the whole thing with nice audio. When I first went down, I went and registered. Very kindly, this gentleman agreed to being on film, don't worry. And they went and got my number, and obviously you also get your finishers t-shirt at this stage as well.
100% bad juju to put this on before you finish.
I think the thing about registering is it makes it feel really real, and it doesn't matter how many I do. This part always gets me a little bit jittery and a little bit nervy, but that's okay. It's quickly soothed by going into the merch tent, which you are directed to straight away, which I love for them. You have to then do the single most important thing on 70.3 check-in, which is finding your name. Next, it was time to go through everything they had given me and make sure I had all the correct elements and start to sticker up my bike. So I ambitiously went in the green swim wave, which we'll see if that's a good idea later on. And then I stickered up my bike so that I could take it in for registration. The most important number here is your seat post so that you can actually take your bike into registration. Without this, they won't let you in. So once you went into registration, for us, we had to rack our bikes by the handlebars. In some races, you can just rack anywhere. In Ironman races, it is all pre-assigned, which is really handy because it means that you don't have to rush to get like a good spot on the rack. Because I have such a small bike and such small distance between my brakes and my handlebars, I have to use cable ties. I was basically in the middle of the row, which, you know what, it's neither here nor there. The way it's structured means that you run the same distance regardless. Once I'd put my bike in, it was time to go and get my timing chip, which you do as you leave the transition in most 70.3.
If you lose your timing chip, you have a problem. This is important. This is important.
So once I got my timing chip, which you always wear on your left ankle, it was time to put it somewhere safe and then go on and head down to the practice swim. Now, I was actually too nervous to do the practice swim last year on my first triathlon because I was so scared of the water. I would definitely recommend doing the practice swim. I really regretted it last year because it meant I was really nervous on race morning, whereas this year I really knew what to expect. So for me, the practice swim was all about testing out which goggles I was going to wear. Was I going to wear a lighter goggle because the water here is very murky and dark and you can't see your hand in front of your face? Or was I going to wear a shaded goggle because I was swimming at sunrise and I needed to be able to sight the buoys? Now, one of the beauties of this race is because it's in a regatta lake, you're basically swimming along the bank, you're like sighting the bank. So I ended up choosing to go with the lighter goggle because for me, looking down into like complete darkness is quite scary. I'm still not a very confident swimmer. So that's what the practice swim is all about, combined with how I was going to enter the water. One of the things about Western Sydney is that you're actually jumping off of a pontoon to start, and I can't dive. So for me, it was like, how am I going to jump in? Am I jumping? Am I kind of sitting down and sliding in? Am I going to hold my goggles, hold my nose, etc.? And look, the practice swim is just about meaning that in the morning you are 10, 20, 30% less nervous. Okay, so the very last step was to actually pack. Now, when I pack, I lay out my transition, and I have recorded a full video on this, which I'm going to release as a separate video on like how to pack a transition, how to lay out a transition, because there is so much here that I could go through. But the most important thing for me is that I lay it out and then I put it all into my box and I know that it's ready. So with that, I went off to eat some carbs. Let's jump to race morning.
Happy race day for all that celebrate. Let's go. Oh, it is 4 a.m. Been up at half an hour, just getting ready. So I'll show you what my morning routine is before a race. Let's go.
Look, I would really love to be one of those race day girlies who's super aesthetic, but I'm just not, and my plaits are never going to be even. But race day hair is important, so I get up and I have a shower, put my tri-suit on immediately. I get my my sports bra on and my heart rate strap so that I'm really ready to go. And then it's all about getting food into me, teeth done, hair done. It's pretty simple. I aim to have 2 crumpets before I leave the house and 2 when I get there. I just pour maple syrup or honey on them. It's the quickest way to get good carbs in. And the last thing that really has to be prepped is making sure that I've got my race day essentials. So in Australia, you have to tattoo your number on, which is provided. And honestly, I actually love this part. It's my favourite part.
Never prouder than when I've got this on my arm.
Once we've done that, the last thing is just to make sure I've got my timing chip. If you don't have your timing chip, you can't race. I will not be wearing my Alright Big Lad socks on race morning. And then we got in the car. It was about an hour's drive and we were over to race day. So let's jump to the venue.
Good morning! We've just got down the lake. Looks unreal, which is exciting. We did get stuck in a little bit of traffic, so we're running a little tighter to time than I perhaps wanted to, but that's okay. We're gonna head to transition now, pump up the tyres, put all the stuff in from the box, and then get our wetsuit on and be ready to race.
So the very last thing was just to make sure that everything was in transition. I was replicating that layout that I practiced last night. I pumped up my tyres, I put my batteries on my bike, I put my bike computer on my bike, I did one last panic check, I had my helmet, I had my race number, I was ready to go. So let's jump into the race recap, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching the video this far. Coming in hot from the training room. I don't have a heap of race footage to show you. My spectators weren't there to be professional camera people, they were there to support me, so you'll have to excuse the fact that we're going to do it like this. But start off with the swim. Let's just say firstly, I was nowhere near as nervous as I was for my first. When I started for my first, I could barely hold conversation. Whereas for my second, we were dancing, we were having a great time, and I got to start, obviously, again, with my best friend Martha. So it was just a bit of a dream start to a race, and I do think, like, not being a first-time nervy kind of wreck was great. Anyway, into the swim. Last year, I did the swim in 38 minutes. I swam super wide around the course outline so that I wasn't near people. I didn't want to get kicked. I didn't want to have my head dunked. I was not interested. This year, we went out with a slightly different intention. This year, I aimed to swim as close as possible to the edge of the buoys as I possibly could, because I didn't want to swim a meter over 1.9 kilometers. Now, my Strava has done me a bit of a dirty there because it was a 1.9 kilometer course and I actually swam at an average of a 1:52, which brought me in at just over 35 minutes. Absolutely delighted. Came out the swim knowing I had to save 14 minutes across the whole race, and I thought that is a bonus 3 minutes. Let's go. I was straight into transition. Obviously, the wetsuit's coming off as I'm running. I'm into transition pretty fast. My T1 was 3 minutes and 14 seconds, which is actually 30 seconds slower than last year, which did surprise me because I felt like I was moving very, very quickly, but it was 30 seconds. We'll take the win. Straight out on the bike leg. Now, the bike leg last year, I did in 2 hours and 52 minutes, which averaged 31.3 kilometers per hour. This year, the goal was to come in over 32. So I set out on the bike leg hard. The start of the bike course is this like messy little get yourself out onto the road, like get out of the regatta center kind of bit. And I was absolutely playing around the corners, determined to not lose like a couple of minutes, dilly-dallying around. And the bike was good. It felt really, really good. At the halfway mark, I was averaging 32.6 kilometers per hour for the distance so far. I was like, right, this is unbelievable. I was making sure I fueled. I picked up fuel at every aid station. I only missed one water bottle. It's my first water bottle I've ever missed at an aid station, so that was great. And the bike felt great. I also, every switchback, I kept seeing my friend Tom coming down, and so I was just running or cycling away from him as fast as I possibly could. A little bit of cat and mouse action always helps you go a bit faster, I think. He caught me at about 75k, by which point my average had definitely decreased and we were now down to like 32, and we were flicking between 31.9 and 32. I was like, this is not ideal. So I really put in some hard work in the last 15k, and Tom and I cycled like pretty much together, kind of within viewing distance of each other, for the last 15 kilometers so that I could really get that average up. I finished my bike in 2 hours and 48 minutes, which is 4 minutes saved off of last year, but I was slightly disappointed. I have cycled a lot this year. It is probably the discipline I have done the most. So to only save 4 minutes, I thought I had more in me, but it's okay. It's fine. It happened. It's 4 minutes. The good news is I'd saved 3 on the swim and 4 on the bike, which meant I had my 7 minutes left to save on the run. Last year, I ran in 2 hours and 7 minutes. So I just had to run a 2-hour half marathon. This was a big ask. My PB half marathon is 1:56, and I ran it in the first half of Sydney Marathon about 4 weeks ago. So a 2-hour half marathon for me was a big ask of the body, particularly coming off obviously a swim and a bike. So I went through T1. T1 took me 1 minute and 14 seconds, which is 17 seconds faster than last year. So I kind of undid my slower T1. I took a wee in T2. I don't know if I meant to admit that. I was like on the floor, not in the porch. Like, I was so desperate. I like bent down to get my shoes, and I was like, it's a really hot day, it's gonna dry instantly. I didn't really have a choice. I just kind of wet myself. So that happened. I also weed on the bike. I'm used to weighing on the bike now. I have a strategy. I like shuffle back basically and freewheel and then wee. Whatever, like, people wee in Ironmans all the time, half Ironmans, whatever. You don't have to, but I did. Anyway, out on the run, look down, I'm running a 4:45 average pace. Like, settle down, Soph, this is not ideal. I had to run an average of a 5:41 or below over the whole 21k in order to run under the 2 hours, which was going to bring me in at 5:30. So as long as I ran like a second under that, I was in. I got on the run. The run is 3 loops. The loop is kind of divided into, like, I say 3 sections. You've got a section that really amusingly last year, I was like, that's the hilly section. Obviously, I was not that fit and I overworked the bike last year because that section killed me. This year, turns out, not really hilly. Exactly the same course. Not that hilly. Turns out this is a flat course, as they say. So first section, I was like, well, this is great, because I thought this was going to be the slow section, and I'm running well. I'm running at like 5:20s once I've settled down, you know, out the gate. Then section 2 is a flat section, but it's quite lonely. So it's just literally out all the way along the road and back again. You double back on yourself is what it is. The third section, you run like through all the crowds and it's really great. And then you have a bit of a lonely bit where you get down the lake and then back on yourself. Again, a switchback. You run over the bridge and you're back out. The bridge is great. It's like a little bit steep, but it's great. That's all crowds. So we don't even count that as a section. It's kind of 4 sections. Round 1, I'm thinking, this is good. This is good. I'm running 5:30s by this point, by the end of lap 1. I'm like, okay, hold on. You got 2 laps to go. This is your pacing. Lap 2, I see Tom from the bike again, who I've beaten out of transition. So I know I'm ahead of him. He's a great runner. I run out, I see him on the switchback. I'm like, fuck, I need to run. So managed to drop it down into the like 5:20s-ish, and I decide that I'm going to split up the kilometers in my head into like fast kilometers and slower kilometers. So if there's a tiny bit of an uphill, that's one of my ones where I can like relax, and on the downhills I'm going to really use them and absolutely plow it and get that down to like a 5:05 pace to average. My watch is telling me that I've running an average of a 5:34 kilometer, like over the whole race, not the kilometer I was on, the whole kind of run so far. So I was like, fuck, and I'm watching this go up. Average 5:32, average 5:34, and I was like, this can't get to past 5:41 or I'm going to miss my target. I have only saved 7 minutes. I have to come in sub 2 hours. You have to run the last 4 kilometers up and around the lake and back. There is not a spectator. There is an aid station at 19 and a half maybe. It is so lonely. There's no other runners near me. It was so intense. I'm watching the clock staying at 5:34 average. I'm running, I'm like, this hurts. I'm like having a real chat with myself. I'm like, Soph, this is yours to lose. You've got to go, Soph, you've got to go. You've got to hold on. All this chat to myself. Get to the aid station. I'm like, when you get to that aid station, you can walk for 10 meters. Water, electrolytes, the gels are done. We're no more gels. We're plowing through to the finish here. Get around the corner, there's like this tiny little hill, tiny little bridge, and you think, this is going to be okay. This is going to be okay. You come over that bridge and you're running, and then you see 20k and you're like, oh my God, I still have a kilometer left. And my brain was like, the quicker you run, the quicker this is now over. Just go. I was giving it everything. In my head, I'm running a 4:45 kilometer. Look down, I'm running 5:30s maximum. Like, it's not the glory kilometer that I thought it was. Anyway, I'm coming down the finisher chute. I don't know what happened with my maths. I look up, I don't have my glasses on. I'm like, oh my God. My time is 5 hours and 22 minutes. I have completely miscalculated something and saved, I thought it was coming in at 5:29.
I have completely miscalculated. I'm coming in 8 minutes ahead of schedule, just bawling my eyes out. And this lovely photo is the one that made it to like the best of gallery, which everybody gets sent who did the race. So everybody can see how much emotion was in this race for me. I was just delighted. 5:30 for me felt like this real barrier. It was the sub 4 marathon kind of barrier for me. As in pieces. And that's the race recap. I'm gonna leave you with this video of how I felt after the race. Subscribe, like if this was useful, if you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments. It's my first long form. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one.
Well done.
5:22. It's a good day.